This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Tom, you wrote I really liked your column recently that you just wrote. And just talking about a variety of things, you made some good points. This is the longest losing streak this football team has had under Sam Pittman since 2020. KJ pressing, you touched on a couple of things. What did you notice in the words that Sam Pittman said yesterday that we had in our open about KJ pressing yesterday?
Well, you can see in his press conferences right now that he's doing a lot of reflection. He knows fans are really upset, and as he pointed out twice, the question I asked him, and it wasn't super well phrased, but it was just basically about, do you believe the guys can, put off the losses in a row and just really focus on the game-to-game? And he got kind of in-depth about it and just said the BYU game is the one that hangs over them because that was the one they were supposed to win.
Yep.
And, y'all, I swear, that crew just had it out for them. They were looking for penalties, and it was a huge amount of penalties, and 2 or 3 of them that were so questionable. But I'm going to stop talking about that. And so his answer was, we're still a good team. I mean, people might look at us and say we're not, but we're a good team. And I know that he's telling his players that, and I don't doubt that they'll have a good game plan for Alabama. But here's what I think. They need to have some fun on offense. They just look so constricted and so like, if this, the run game's not going, then what are we going to do? And, they've converted some long-distance pass plays over the last couple of games, but the percentages of you doing that time and again, like the way they went down the field on their first possession against it might have been A&M, or they were converting a lot of third and longs, or maybe the LSU game. The percentages of you doing that time and again are just so low.
Yeah.
So they have to do something to have more fun. And KJ needs to be maybe on the move more because they just look like so constipated on offense,
Are you saying they're full of it?
Well, and we know KJ's capable. We know Rocket's capable. And so they just got to find ways to get some seams going, get some forward momentum, and also be healthy enough after this Alabama game because, the odds are against them, huge underdog, to be able to finish strong. Arkansas should never have to face a schedule like they just did because what it does is it sets up issues like what they're having right now. You've lost 4 games in a row. 3 of them have been tough SEC West games away from home, and it's just not conducive.
Yeah. Here's what I took out of the 30-plus minutes yesterday, particularly with the offensive line, but I think it goes beyond that with this team. It's in their head a little bit. I mean, right now, they're having the false starts and some of the things up front because it's in their head. And I think right now there's a lot of self-doubt that they're trying to get shored up. Did you take that impression away from some of the comments he made yesterday?
No question. And when you're losing the games the way you are, it creeps in. And I do believe Sam Pittman and his staff are positive reinforcement type coaches. But I'll give you for instance. At practice yesterday, Deke Adams had the guys on the sled, and he was saying hut and moving and like not moving the ball. He had the ball on the stick. And the whole deal was to fire out when the ball moved because they've had some of those where, and Eric Gregory's had a solid year and had some good plays the other day, but he jumped off sides on the 3rd and 15, and he's right over the ball. I mean, you just can't do that. And so, yeah, I think everybody wants to make plays because they're losing, and it is in their head a little bit. Yeah, I think you're right.
Tom Murphy with us here on the Clardy Daniel Hotline. You mentioned the third down situation, Tom. I felt like that during the course of that game, Sam Pittman didn't elect to go initially for that first field goal. He explained that a little bit yesterday. And then the 3rd and 9 QB draw call. I mean, at this situation, don't you just go for the win? Like, I felt like they played conservative 2 or 3 times in that football game in Oxford Saturday night.
Well, yeah. The 3rd and 9 quarterback run, which looked designed, I think maybe you give yourself more of a chance because none of the quarterback runs had gotten a whole lot of yardage. They were shooting through gaps. I mean, you know, they were running guys, man, into the gaps. And I know someone pointed out, sent a video out on, you know, the internet that if KJ maybe had seen it better, that the edge might have been available. And I do think the outside defender had his outside arm free and maybe could have released from the block and gotten to it. But anyway, yeah, I think I would have favored passing into the end zone at that point. And, you know, people have talked about Tesla not getting enough separation and stuff. Where he was so good in camp, because we saw this play over and over, was running out-breaking stuff where a defender would be in tight coverage, but KJ would throw the ball right on the sideline, and Tesla made so many good catches. So play to their strengths. We saw so many screens for Isaiah Satania in spring and fall. I just thought that was going to be a staple. I've mentioned that on your show so many times. Where has that gone? If you get a couple of good blocks on the edge and Satania's got the ball in his hands, even if it's at the line of scrimmage, it could break. And they just haven't done that a lot. And so I don't know the reasoning and the logic. We don't get to see the whole practice, and I've gone off on a tangent that I don't even know what your original question.
You're good.
All right, so Tom, let's get you out of here on this. You're playing a stellar Alabama defense that has awoken over the last 4 games or so. They're holding their opponents to season-low point production. How does Arkansas manage to score enough points with an anemic offense, or as you described it, I believe it's constipated? How do they manage to get enough points on the board to be in the game in the fourth quarter?
Well, you know, that is a great question. They've got to be really good in the kicking game. You know, they got a touchdown out of it there 2 years ago in that 42-35 game. They can't have any shank punts and give opponents short field. I think they've got to possess the ball. You know, you can see what their game plan was to hold the ball for long periods of time, and they did that some. In the LSU game, they had some long drives, and last week, their first drive, even though they converted some, you know, low percentage third down plays and stuff, they maintained the ball. And when you do that, you put a little pressure on opposing offenses. You know, keep Milroe from killing him with his legs. That's a huge deal. And score in the red zone. I mean, you know, the quarterback draw we were just talking about was a red zone deal where, you know, they were on the 4-yard line before a false start by Latham. So, I don't know. They really have to maximize all their scoring opportunities. It's and believe they can win when they get off the plane. Even though you've lost 4 games in a row, you have to just believe that if you execute all the things you can do, you'll have a chance. And honestly, I think Alabama, coming off that huge deal against A&M, they might be in the same place mentally as Ole Miss was, because Ole Miss, it's such a peak against LSU, and Arkansas had a really good defensive game plan in that game. And so I don't think they're giving up, and I think they're going to put forth a decent game plan against Bama.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.